Howdy, folks. I'm Roxy Hart,
I'm Velma Kelly.
and here's some Reddit. Oh, just to give you folks a warning, all of these deal with kind of bad husbands and potentially some kind of tricky situations, maybe even abusive type of situations. So just keep that in mind when you're watching this. So that's going to be kind of a general content warning for today's episode. Our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Returning the Shoes That I Got for My Husband After He Accused Me of Stealing from Him? I'm a 29-year-old female, and my husband is a 36-year-old male, and he's the breadwinner of the family. I stay home with the kids who are preschool age. He pays for the mortgage, bills, household needs, kids' needs, etc. He has set a monthly budget for each category and handles getting everything done. Recently, he's become overwhelmed and told me to handle the grocery shopping, but before he let me, he asked me to write a list of all the stuff that we need so he could calculate the total and also so he would have an idea about how much I'll be spending when I take his credit card. I didn't have an issue with that because this way we would be able to watch our spending habits. However, he said I'm never allowed to get something that isn't on the list unless I'm paying for it some other way. Well, on Friday, I was doing some grocery shopping as usual, and I saw that the store had some nice shoes on sale. The price was insanely low for this brand, so I decided to grab a pair for my husband, thinking that he would be happy with them since he needed a new pair of sneakers anyways. I bought them, and when I showed him, he flipped out saying that I made a huge mistake by buying something that was not on the list. I agreed with him, but I thought that since the shoes were for him, it would be different. He said I messed up and I shouldn't have bought those sneakers without even telling him. But in my defense, I said that the price was so low, it's not like I spent $100 on the shoes. And also, I saw the great deal and wanted him to have those nice sneakers. He plainly said that what I did is considered stealing, and since he never consented to having those sneakers purchased and said that I'm being irresponsible with money, and that's why I no longer have an income, my spending habits need a grip. I don't know what a grip is. I felt hurt by what he said. We argued about it for hours, and he avoided speaking to me for the rest of the day. Well, the next day, I went and I returned the sneakers and I took the money back. He got home in the evening and lost it when he found out that I returned them. He said he couldn't believe how petty and childish I was to actually do this. I explained that I was just correcting my mistake. He tried to contact the store and was told the sneakers were already sold. He got even angrier with me, but I told him that he accused me of stealing from him, and I was just trying to do a nice gesture for him. He yelled that I got a lot of nerve calling what I did a nice gesture, while using his money to do it. I told him that he had no right to yell at me after I corrected my mistake and gave back the money that he accused me of stealing. He threw a fit and went out with his friends and came home late at night and is still not talking to me. Did I mess up? Maybe I shouldn't have purchased them knowing that they weren't on the list, but I just wanted him to have those sneakers and I thought I was doing a nice gesture. Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Divorce him. He had it coming.
I just can't understand. This is just seems like financial
It
abuse
is
with
financial.
as restrictive as he's being, and it doesn't sound like he has the same limits because he was able to go out and spend a night with his friends without having any kind of limit on his spending, it sounds like.
Yeah, well,
And
he talks about it as if it's just his money. Like,
yeah.
hope he's not contributing when she's doing all the childcare.
Yeah, OP, you need to start charging him for childcare. Plain and simple. Just write him a bill each month and be like, well, this is how much you are being charged for childcare. And, make it the going rate of whatever childcare would cost for preschool age children. He doesn't have a leg to stand on in that respect. And I think OP, he is distorting this and turning it around to make it seem like you're being the bad person, but you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, you were doing him a favor, and then when you were in a no-win situation. You bought the sneakers that you knew he needed, and when you brought them to him, instead of him being happy and being like, "Oh, thanks, honey, you saw and snatched a great deal. You saved us money. Thanks." He got mad at you and said you stole from me. So what do? You're like, "Oh, I didn't mean to steal from you. I thought that you would appreciate that." And then you went and returned them, and now he's mad at you for returning them. There's no winning with him. He is doing this to manipulate you and confuse you and be able to treat you like garbage. And that's really what this seems like. So, yeah, I don't think that you're to blame here, OP. And I think that he does not seem like he is being a very nice person. Plain and simple. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. With that said, something else to add. Get out of there. I lost count of how many red flags there were in this short story. Just to recap, you have zero knowledge of input into your family's financial situation by design. You have to get pre-approval for an action as mundane as grocery shopping. Acting even slightly independently was met with extreme anger and accusations. When you tried to defend yourself, you were darvoed and berated. Again, acting independently, even to correct a mistake, was met with equal amounts of anger. The entire ordeal, you were kept emotionally unstable and purposely left that way with no resolution possible. My goodness, it's like LeBron and Serena hooked up and had a super baby, and the sport they played was abuse ball. This is not an exaggeration. You are being abused. Someone better than me will hopefully reply with an outline of a plan and resources. Please consider yourself and your kids OP. Edit to include Darvo, since some people aren't familiar. Darvo is deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Short version, technique abusers use to make others, including the victims, think that they are wronged party. Effectively creates a shield for the abuser that's hard to articulate for the abused. Edit 2, a lot of people emphasizing his money thing. It's not his money if you're both working. You just happen to be a stay-at-home mom. Also, an alternative view, even if you don't agree, please remember upvotes and downvotes are for if they added to the discussion, not your personal alignment. Edit 3, final unless OP responds. As hoped, there were some people who are more experienced in this area than me who provided some really good links. Thank you, everyone who took the time to do so. It may help OP and someone similar in the situation. And they've linked to some crisis lines and planning. So I'll probably put those into the links in the description. So if anyone wants to see those, you're more than welcome to. I think those are probably going to be great resources. So this is very much appreciated. So thank you. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Snapping at My Husband After He Told Me to Go Make Dinner at 2 in the morning? I'll correct this. It's 3 a.m. Time for a Krabby Patty.
Oh boy, here I am.
It's not funny. So, my husband, a 27-year-old male, has been coming home late recently. I'm talking 2 to 3 a.m. kind of late. I don't know what he's doing out that late at night, but he says his evening shift tends to extend and he works extra hours. Anyways, I'm a new mother and I'm constantly exhausted and I only get a few hours of sleep. Normally, when he's out so late, I have my dinner and I don't put anything aside for him because he's obviously eats at work like he said he does. Well, on Thursday, I get woken up by him shaking me at 2:45 a.m. I ask him what he wants, and he tells me that he's hungry and he wants to eat. I tell him that I didn't have dinner put aside for him, thinking he'd already eaten at work. He loses it on me and asks, Are you effing crazy? Ate at work? He then demands that I go make him dinner at 2 a.m. in the morning. I snap at him and yell at him and ask, What, dinner at 2 in the morning? He then throws at me that he was working all day and then asks what I was doing all day. I know, as if taking care of a baby isn't doing something. The baby gets waken up, which makes me madder. I start arguing with my husband and he storms out of the room saying that I should make it up to him after I decided not to save dinner for him, and then goes on comments on how much I eat and how much weight I put up lately. I refuse to make dinner and he ends up going to sleep without eating anything. He goes into radio silence after telling me that he's working hard for this family compared to me, and that the least I could do is have dinner ready for him whenever the time is. Am I the jerk for not getting up to make him dinner at 2 a.m., snapping at him after he insisted? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Divorce him. And he's probably not working late.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, if he's actually working late, then that is certainly a good thing that he's working hard for the family. But if he is having an affair or some other thing, then I mean, that certainly is not good for your family. I would suggest that you buy some TV dinners for him, and that if he comes home at 2 a.m. and needs something to eat, then he can heat himself up a TV dinner in the middle of the night. Or he can tell you ahead of time, like an adult with words, that he is going to actually need a dinner ready for him in the morning when he gets home. Like, there's no excuse for him to wake you up that early in the morning when he had plenty of opportunities to call you well before that, or send you a text, or any number of things to be like, hey, hon, can you please leave me dinner out, or make extra dinner for me so I can heat it up for myself when I get home. So there wouldn't have been anything wrong with him making a reasonable request like that, but for him to wake you up at 2 a.m. and demand that you make him dinner, I just think that was just completely not good. Not good at all. So, yeah, anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. What in the world? You don't know what he's actually doing, and he clearly doesn't know what's involved in being a parent with a newborn. And he mentions your weight, arg, raging on your behalf. Why are you with this guy? I'd be interested in whether OP can see the extra money in the account for the extra hours. If not, I wonder if it's low key where he's simply sleeping at work, avoiding the newborn. Or high level where he's taking in a mistress or doing illicit substances to numb the reality of his current life. Having no husband is better than having this husband. Not the jerk, this is an abuse situation and you need to look at your life and decide if this is what you want. Why can't he make his own food like an adult? Never mind yelling in the middle of the night and calling her fat. Was that supposed to make her comply? Yeah, like the insults were completely unnecessary here. Waking her up in the morning was completely unnecessary here. Alright folks, it is tea time, so grab your beverages of choice. I hope you have something tasty today. So we have a joke from Morgan, and today we'll let Amber tell it.
What does a sea monster like to snack on? Chips and dip.
Chips and dip, indeed.
I thought you were gonna say what, so I was like waiting for
Oh, I was just letting you to pause for it. I had forgotten what the punchline was, so I was just waiting. You remembered it, but I was like, I don't remember what it is, so I'm just gonna let Amber tell the joke.
Well, you know, but I thought you were like, I was like, I thought you were gonna say what, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I have Mega Mint tea today.
Same.
All right, our last letter is titled, Am I the jerk for making my husband ask for permission before opening things in the fridge and pantry? All of these were such great stories. I didn't know which one to put first, but this one, oh my goodness, folks. My husband and I have been married for 3 years and I love him to death, but he has this habit that's driving me insane. He's a huge foodie and likes to try new things and eat. Because of this, whenever I go grocery shopping and I fill the fridge and pantry, he will open almost everything new just to quote try it. This includes jars of sauces, pre-made meals, bottled drinks, and any other food that he can get his hands on. Well, unfortunately, this has caused some problems. For instance, one time I had bought a pre-made potato salad, coleslaw, and baked beans to bring to a cookout. However, when I arrived and opened the containers, they had already had little bites taken out of them. In addition, I had placed a bottle of coffee creamer in my bag to take to work, when I assumed that it was unopened and sealed. However, when I arrived, the bottle leaked from the opening and my bag was completely soaked. Apparently, my husband had opened the bottle that night before to take a swig of it. He doesn't even like coffee or coffee creamer. Oh my goodness. He just has to have the first bite of everything. This habit has annoyed me to the max. Another time, I had planned on making spaghetti with pre-made sauce, but when I opened the jar, it had already been opened days ago and smelled sour. He had saw it in the pantry, tried it, and then put it back in the pantry unrefrigerated. I couldn't even use it and dinner was ruined for that night. I feel like I'm treating my husband like a child by making him ask for permission before opening things, but I feel like that's the only way to prevent this. He claims that since I'm putting all of the groceries in places that are accessible to everyone in the house, then I shouldn't get mad when he tries to eat it. I can't think of another solution. I feel like it would be overkill to label everything in the fridge/pantry as do not eat yet. then there would be too many things to label. So, am I the jerk for putting this restriction on my husband? Edit, he doesn't do it every time I bring something home, just most of the time. It's when it's something new that he hasn't tried before. So, for example, the coffee creamer and the spaghetti sauce were new flavors. So, he tried them without my permission because he was curious about the taste. Just wanted to clarify that he's not opening every single jar slash can every time I bring back groceries, just the new stuff. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
Oh my goodness, why does he need to do this? If we just buy two of every new thing and just let him tell him that if he opens something, he needs to finish it. Like, this is kind of absurd. And the fact that he would take like a jar of spaghetti sauce and then put it back in the pantry, like, he's going to cause you to get food poisoning. Like, this isn't good. There are a lot of dishes that you can't keep open for more than a few days, and the fact that he's doing this is really putting your health at risk. Like, if this was just impacting him, that would be one thing, but this is impacting your entire family, and he's really running a huge risk here of actually causing some actual real damage here. So, OP, I don't think you're a jerk for wanting to put a restriction on him, but I think that he needs to actually be an adult and not open up foods that he's curious about. He can just wait until you've prepared them, and he's causing a lot of harm and destruction in his wake here. Like, it would be different if this was just like an accident and he didn't realize that he wasn't supposed to eat things and it happened like once. But this is happening often enough that you took the time out of your day to come to Reddit to ask if you are losing your mind about whether or not he should be telling your husband not to open certain foods. No, he does not need to be opening every new thing and trying every new thing. He can try it when everyone else tries it. He doesn't need to be doing this. This is absurd. Why? So, no, OP, I don't think that you're the jerk, and I think that this is just taking it too far for him. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, and what in the world? This is bizarre. Tell him he needs to take a basic food handling course or something. He does not know to put certain foods in the fridge after opening? And OP says, I'm pretty sure that he put it back in the same place that he found the jar because he didn't want me to know that he had opened it and tried it. I have gotten on to him for eating those things without my permission before. Oh no. How many things has he opened that you don't even know that he's opened yet? This is not good. Do not, do not do this. He's going to get you all put in the hospital. This is a really good idea. A food handling course might show him how bad his must taste everything habit is. I had a mental calculator running with the price of all the food that he's purposely wasted by tasting and not properly handling. Yeah, that's not snacking or childish or being a foodie. That's very disorderly sounding relationship to the food, to the point of treating canned and jarred foods unsafely, especially. Nonsensical things that you mentioned like coffee creamer and plain sauces. Don't think either of you is the jerk, but I do think that imposing rules and restrictions will only ever be a band-aid for behavior like that. Communication's super key. Do you know if your husband slash his family suffered from food insecurity in the past? Or maybe he was very close with someone who suffered an odd relationship with food. Stuff like that can manifest in all sorts of different ways, and folks just brush it off as eccentricity, sometimes for decades. And I couldn't agree more, this sounds more like a compulsive disorder than being a foodie. Yeah, I mean, that actually may very well be it. Not that we're armchair psychologists here. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
You can thank Amber today for our names.
I figured it was fitting with our theme.
Oh, we this must be from Chicago because I haven't seen that musical.